You're about to listen to Kelly Martin Speaks. I'm your host Kelly, and the author of When Everyone Shines But You, a mental health and self-acceptance blogger and a recovering darkness addict. I have experienced intense anxiety, deep depression and life trauma, but I'm coming out of the other side now. Darkness was a comfort zone for me for a long time, and it felt safer than the light. So in this podcast I share with you my journey into the light and how I move through challenge in an empowering way. I'll share with you tools and nurturing ways to embrace your humanity. I was once a shy, scared introvert, afraid to speak, but that's all changing. Let's take this journey together and learn to fly. Hi there, welcome back to Kelly Martin Speaks. I'm your host Kelly Martin and this is episode 76. Today I'm going to talk about being grateful for the pain journey, which is, might I say, not an easy road to take. Now, whether we have physical pain, emotional pain, or mental pain, or all of this, being grateful for the gifts it brings can feel a very tall order indeed. Imagine if you were in daily pain, which I'm sure some of you are, to the point that your body hurts so much you have to lie down all day and rest. I have a friend who experiences this, and I have been able to get a taster of this past week, seeing how it is for her, through my best friend Michael. As I mentioned in last week's podcast, he got sick for the first time in the 16 years we've lived together. And at the time of last week's episode, I just said I was going to go to the doctors with him. It turned out that he had not an ear infection, but shingles in his face. Now, shingles is excruciatingly painful, affecting the nerves. Shingles is a reactivation of a viral infection in the nerves to the skin that causes pain, burning or a tingling sensation, along with an itch and blisters in the skin that's supplied by the affected nerve. It's something that can easily be misdiagnosed before the rash appears, so Michael really thought he just had an ear infection initially. So we went to the doctors and he got his diagnosis, and for the first time in a very long time he had to take medical antiviral drugs for the condition. And as with many medications, there were side effects, a lot of side effects. So for the past week he's been in incredible pain. He's had migraines daily, difficulty eating due to pain in his mouth, swelling, and his hearing is seriously affected on his left ear right now, and I hope that it clears soon. He's been resting a lot. The drugs have given him the migraines and the nausea, and a few days ago he had diarrhea as well, so a great bunch of symptoms. And it broke my heart, to be honest, and because of worry and stress, I've had indigestion for over 3 days now, but aside from all of these symptoms and pain, it has brought up so much about how much I love him, how much I am grateful for him, and so much more. I've had to begin to deal with death, my fear of losing him, and an abundance of wonderful triggers that life has supplied me with. And life can be like this. It gives us exactly what we need to experience until we have learned what we need to. And I was feeling this fear of loss and working through this, just beginning to. So while this is painful for Michael, it's been emotionally painful for me and has forced me to face my own fears. The pain journey does just that, and it does it really well when we become aware of its purpose. We can miss out on what the significance is of the gifts that it brings, but The pain journey always has a message or a wisdom within it when we question it. Now, I can't speak for Michael, but it's really opened my heart to how much I need to appreciate him even more than I ever did before. And I can see for Michael also it's allowed him to receive me giving him help. Before he met me, any kind of sickness or challenge he dealt with like a strong warrior, pushing through the challenge. He told me this week he's never had a helper before. So I'm grateful that I am able to support him when he needs help. It's been hard for him allowing me to do things he would normally do, but it's been really necessary. Sometimes we need to surrender to what is, and in relationships switch roles at times to be there for other people. And while working through this fear of loss, I came across a beautiful message that the author and teacher Scott Stabile shared on Facebook this week. It was from one of his followers called Tanya, who answered his request for messages that reflected what they appreciate in themselves. And it really brought some tears to my eyes because it really helped me with what I'm going through, and I hope it helps you. And it's for anyone who's going through a particularly painful journey right now, be it a physical journey or through grief or loss. And this is the message. Hi, Scott. The year 2016 is one I will never forget. Not because it was filled with beautiful memories and magical moments, but rather because it was the year that I suffered so many losses that it felt as if I had lost everything. I lost my husband of 17 years, my job after 20 years with the same company, and my home. 4 people I loved with all my heart passed away. I had no choice but to move back to the small town where I grew up, a place I swore I would never again call home. I felt as if my entire world had imploded. I felt hopelessly heartbroken. For the life of me, I couldn't begin to imagine how the path I was on could possibly lead me to a destination where I would ever again feel whole. I share this with you because that year set me on a path to rebuild my life. That path helped me discover that none of the things I had lost had ever truly defined me. I didn't understand that in 2016. I am certain of it as we approach 2020. The 2 things I appreciate about myself were both realised during my journey from 2016 to 2020. The first thing that I appreciate about myself is my new ability to focus on gratitude. It's easy to focus on deficits and losses. Focusing on being grateful for what you do have, well, that takes practice. I wouldn't say that I have it mastered, but it is far easier and more consistent practice for me now. The end result has been the stunning realization that I have so much for which I am eternally grateful. In that respect, I have everything I will ever need. The second thing I appreciate about myself is my determination to help others. After losing everything and moving back to my hometown, I have filled my unlimited free time with serving others. I spent 6 months trying to fulfill every possible wish of a friend who battled end-stage lung cancer. I moved in with a friend of 30 years who had to have 2 back surgeries and had nobody to help with his recovery. I looked for every opportunity to focus on the needs of others. Amazing how serving others directs your attention immediately back to gratitude. I know you are a busy man, so if you read this far, thank you. I want to thank you for your thoughts and videos, your willingness to share your vulnerability, light and love that has single-handedly made my world better, a brighter place. My reflections of gratitude often include you. Wishing you so much love and happiness, Scott. Big love, Tanya. P.S. As 2019 draws to a close, I have a new career I could never have envisioned. I have a roof over my head that feels more like home than any place I have ever lived. I have a wonderful new group of friends who are family to me. And the friend who had 2 back surgeries is now my husband. Sorry, getting emotional about that. Just because you can't see the path to a new and beautiful life doesn't mean that you aren't on it. My gratitude cup is overflowing each and every day. Thanks for listening to another episode of Kelly Martin Speaks. If you have a question or topic you are struggling with and would like me to answer on an upcoming podcast episode, please get in touch. Your name will be confidential. Email me at kellymartinspeaks@gmail.com or message me on Facebook via my page Kelly Martin Speaks. And don't forget, if you feel that others are passing you by and the not good enough voice is screaming loudly, pop by kellymartin.co.uk to find out all about my books, including Book 1, When Everyone Shines But You. You can also support me via my podcast page on my website, via PayPal. Until next time, bye for now. You've been listening to my podcast, Kelly Martin Speaks. I'd really appreciate your feedback. If you're listening on iTunes, please give me a review. It helps me be seen and heard by those that need it. You can also follow me on kellymartinspeaks.co.uk, where you can read my blogs, find out about my book series, and subscribe to my monthly newsletter. I'm also all over social media, so search for me via Kelly Martin Speaks on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. I'll speak to you next week. Bye.